Hello and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon. I'm Jurnee Taylor and here are some of the headlines we're following for you right now. First, Governor Sarah Sanders officially casting her support for a presidential nominee, former President Donald Trump. We'll have more on what she had to say about the endorsement. Fireworks inside a Manhattan courtroom Monday as former President Donald Trump took the stand in the civil fraud trial against him. More details on that trial and why it could cost Trump his business empire. And it's been 1 month since Hamas first attacked. Coming up, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu now ruling out a ceasefire with one exception. More on all those headlines soon, but first a look at weather. Meteorologist Nathan Scott joins us. Nathan, good afternoon. Tell us what's going on over there in that weather department.
Good afternoon, Jurnee. We start off this morning with a deck of clouds across a large part of the metro. These clouds have finally started to break up, but there's still a little batch of clouds moving through Saline County, trying to make its way into Pulaski County, and that has held the numbers down just a little bit. But as soon as that sun breaks out, up the numbers go. It's 81 in Fort Smith, 75 in Clinton, still 68 though in Mena, 81 in Camden and Pine Bluff. We've got those winds pretty much moving in from the south and southwest, so those breezes will be around and probably making it rain leaves in some parts of the region through the course of the afternoon. Temperatures today, upper 70s to lower 80s. The record at Little Rock is 85, set back in 1989. I think that record is not in jeopardy, especially since the clouds have kept the temperatures down just a hint. But tomorrow's record, 81, set back in 2005, I think that will be in jeopardy. After that, though, big changes do arrive. I'm watching a cold front, and the cold front will swing its way through here as we get into Thursday. It'll bring us much cooler temperatures and also a good chance of rain. More details on that coming up.
All right, Nathan, thank you. Well, new at noon, Governor Sarah Sanders stating her plans to endorse former President Donald Trump in the Republican presidential race. Governor Sanders, who once served as Trump's White House press secretary, announced her support in a statement on Monday. As part of that announcement, she issued a statement saying in part, quote, "The time has come to return to normal policies of the Trump era," end quote. She also echoed some of what she had to say in her response during the State of the Union earlier this year, saying the current political landscape is, quote, normal versus crazy. Sanders plans to accompany Trump tomorrow at an appearance in Florida coinciding with the third Republican presidential debate. Now, similar to the other debates, the former president will not be participating. In the latest CBS News poll, Trump holds a slight lead over Joe Biden if the election came down to those two. Now, that endorsement comes 1 year from the 2024 election. The filing period for candidates, both local and national, kicked off at the Arkansas State Capitol yesterday. Now, voters we spoke to, they said they're looking more closely at the issues this year rather than strictly looking at party lines. Now, candidates in the state have decided to lean into that. THV11's political contributor Charles King says politics in Arkansas are typically pretty red, but there are some signs of change, and voters should start studying the candidates now.
The need for education over the next year in participation is the most important thing. Voters should care because this is the most important election in recent history.
Now, the filing period ends a week from today. The primary election is set for March 5th, and the 2024 election is November 5th. In a THV11 update, Little Rock police now searching for a man wanted in connection to a shooting that happened last month. The man on your screen now, Kamarion Stokes, has been identified as a suspect in this shooting that left a juvenile dead and 2 other people hurt. It happened on Friday the 27th at the intersection of Baseline and Chico Road. Stokes is now wanted for capital murder. If you see him, call police. An Alexander man is now in police custody, being charged for his involvement in the fentanyl overdose death of a man. 41-year-old Arthur Joyner Jr. is facing the new death by delivery charge. He's accused of selling fentanyl-laced pills to 41-year-old Douglas Johnson, which police said led to his death on October 16th. The death by delivery bill was signed into law earlier this year to help fight fentanyl deaths in Arkansas. Now, less than a week after being arrested by the FBI and charged with obstruction of justice, Hot Spring County Sheriff Scott Finkbeiner is pleading his innocence. In a statement on his Facebook, Finkbeiner says in part, quote, "I have been advised by legal counsel to not discuss my case until the appropriate time. However, I do want to empathetically say I did not obstruct justice in any way," end quote. Now, according to court documents, Finkbeiner misled federal investigators and tipped off a drug dealer. An unsealed indictment indicates that what led to the obstruction of justice charge. Now, the indictment also says Finkbeiner used meth while in uniform, but as of now, he is not facing any drug charges. For more on his statement and his charges, you can head over to thv11.com. Well, today marks 1 month since the deadly October 7th Hamas terror attacks in Israel that killed 1,400 people. Israel says at least 40 children are believed to be among the hostages held by Hamas, while the Palestinian death toll has surpassed 10,000. Doug Williams has more from Tel Aviv.
As the war rages on, mothers and fathers in Gaza desperately try to protect their children. Grief overwhelms those who cannot. Saadi Baraka has been a gravedigger for 40 years. Let them kill Hamas. I have no problem with that, he raged. But why are they killing innocent children in their homes? Dozens of children are also believed to be among the hostages taken by Hamas 1 month ago.
She'd be saying every day, "Where are you? Where are you, Dad?"
Thomas Hand is desperate for news about his 8-year-old daughter, Emily. She was at a sleepover when Hamas stormed Kibbutz Be'eri, killing more than 100 people. Other hostages include 9-month-old Kafir Silberman Bibas, who was taken along with his mom and 3-year-old brother, and Erez Calderon, who was led away by militants, turned 12 in captivity.
At least let the children go. At least let the children go.
Israelis, in protests both angry and peaceful, say, "Bring them home." Doug Williams, CBS News, Tel Aviv.
Well, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has ruled out a ceasefire until Hamas releases the hostages it is believed to be holding. But he said he was open to, quote, "tactical little pauses," end quote. Well, former President Donald Trump took the stand in a New York courtroom for his civil fraud trial in a 4-hour session that can only be described as explosive. His oldest daughter, Ivanka, is set to testify tomorrow, and New York's Attorney General accuses Trump of inflating his assets to get illegal tax breaks. A defiant Trump clashed with prosecutors and the judge, both inside and outside the courtroom.
Because I want to be here, because it's a scam.
Numbers don't lie, and Mr. Trump obviously can engage in all of these distractions, and that is exactly what he did.
Now, during the testimony, Trump notably acknowledged he had a role in valuing his empire's property. Trial proceedings stopped for today, which is Election Day in New York. And it is Election Day across America, and voters are going to the polls. In many places, the hot button topic of abortion rights is the key issue. Chanel Call reports.
Voters lined up in Columbus, Ohio Tuesday morning, where they're weighing whether women should have the legal right to an abortion. The ballot measure known as Issue 1 seeks to enshrine reproductive rights in the state's constitution. The proposal would only allow the state to ban abortion after viability, which doctors generally consider to be around 22 to 24 weeks, except when it's necessary to protect the life and health of the mother.
I think it's important as women to keep, fighting for our rights, and I feel like Issue 1 is for our rights.
But opponents of Issue 1 say it is dangerous to have abortion rights in the state constitution.
I just believe that every life has meaning, regardless of how young they are, how old they are.
Abortion rights is also a key issue in the Kentucky governor's race, where incumbent Democrat Andy Beshear is facing Republican challenger Daniel Cameron. Cameron voted Tuesday morning in the closely watched race.
We're going to have a new governor on November 7th here in Kentucky.
We got a lot of good things going. We got to win this race to keep them going.
Hold the House and flip the Senate.
In Virginia, Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin urged people to vote, with all 140 General Assembly seats on the ballot. He's looking for a GOP lock on the state house, but Virginia Democrats say giving Republicans full control will lead to rollbacks of voting rights.
They've taken us backwards on reproductive health care. They're taking us backwards on gun violence prevention. That is their goal.
Political watchers say a strong showing for Republicans in Virginia could boost Youngkin's prospects as a late entry into the 2024 presidential race. Chanel Call, CBS News, New York.
And modern gun deer season opens this weekend. A heads up for hunters out there, you've probably got all the essentials already done. Things like safety are top of mind and making sure your hunting equipment is ready to go. Well, now the Game and Fish Commission has a reminder about chronic wasting disease and how to spot it. Signs to watch out for include confusion, salutating, and no fear of humans. And if you do happen to find a deer with the disease, just let them know.
When you go drop that deer off to be tested, whether that's a buck at a participating taxidermist, one of our drop-off self-serve freezers that we have located all over the state, you're helping Game and Fish make sure that we have early detection if CWD does show up in a new part of the state.
And those drop-off sites are free. Well, more Americans are traveling to destinations for their culinary goals. Now, a popular TV series is bringing many foodies together. Coming up, a look at how culinary tourism is increasing in popularity.
It has been unseasonably warm over the past few days, but this stretch is about to come to a quick end. Cold front arrives here on Thursday. Down the numbers go, and also the rain chances, they are going up. I'll let you know how much we can see coming up.